Okay, I think we're live. Hello, everybody. Today, I want to take you on a little history journey back through to the beginning of the BPM lifestyle to show you that I've been working on this for 35 years. This is not something I made up from nothing. If you want to fix your life for free, you need to learn a few basic tools about your body and about the environment and your mind. You have to learn these things and do these things every day if you want to maintain your health. You don't have to do anything. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not saying that you must do any of these things. But if you don't do these things, then you are negatively going to affect your health. And what's the point in causing unnecessary damage to you? If you're chronically ill, the last thing you need is to get worse. The last thing you need is more symptoms, more complicated problems that you've got to solve. Do you need more problems than you already have? Probably not. I don't need any more problems than I've got right now. So the BPM lifestyle is designed to try and minimize the risk of future development of disease while minimizing the symptoms of what you already have to try to improve the quality of your life for free. And if this sounds like something you need, come to the summit the 1st of May on YouTube, 8 p.m. GMT. We're going to start a little group, a little private community of people who want to improve their lives, but don't have any money to do it. It's all very well going to some coach who's going to charge you $10,000 for some program that's going to teach you some basic stuff that you probably already know. And then you've just spent $10,000 and you're in the same position. Well, why don't you just start with something that's free and do all the things that are available to you for free and see what symptoms remain after you've actually made an effort to try and align your biochemistry. If you never try to align your biochemistry, then you don't know if the symptom that you have is a symptom of an actual disease, or if it's a symptom of your lifestyle, or a symptom of your environment, or a symptom of your thought patterns, or these are the various other ways that disease can manifest. So when you control for all the variables of your environment, your body, your mind, and you balance all of these areas of your life, then the chance of you getting a disease later are minimized. They're not erased completely. You can never do that. That's not possible. I'm not going to claim that that's possible. There's no such thing as curing every possible disease and living forever. That's Brian Johnson's realm of living forever. But most people don't want to live forever. I wouldn't want to live to 1,000 years old. It's bad enough living at the moment, let alone adding hundreds of years to this torture of life. But it doesn't have to be as torturous as it was before the BPM lifestyle. So here, how did it all begin? So this is going to be a little bit of a backstory. So, it's probably only going to be one or two people watch this video, but maybe in a few years' time when I'm famous and healing millions of people will look back on this video and they'll be like, wow, he started trying to help people when he was broke as well. I'm broke too, okay? So I understand what it's like to have no money and no hope. I've been homeless twice. I was kicked out by my dad. He told me he wished I was dead. There's things I've had to go through that I wouldn't wish on anyone, but I survived them and I learned lessons from them. And by learning those lessons, I've improved the quality of my life. And by sharing those lessons with you, I can improve the quality of your life for free. So that's what the whole purpose of this summit is, to share this story and this information so that you can try to implement these ideas into your life and improve your life too. But I started when I was 10. Well, it started a little bit before that. I was born with this condition, but I started to notice it when I was 10 years old. So I don't know how many people here know what EDS is, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It's a condition that affects the connective tissue that joins all your body together. You have cells, and you have cells that build structures. So you have the walls of your arteries, you have the walls of your intestines, you have your skin, you have your muscles, you have your bones. These are all different types of body tissue, and they're made from a variety of different proteins, one of those proteins being collagen. And there is a condition, lots of different conditions lumped under the title of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, but there's subcategories within that. There's 13 different types at the moment. And I had a genetic test that showed I had a variant in my collagen 3 my col3a1 gene, which affects the collagen that my blood vessels, my skin, my internal organs are made from. And that made me, when I was a little kid, I was very floppy. I was very bendy. I could bend my fingers back all the way. I can't now, years of arthritis and everything else, but I can't do it so much now. But they used to bend back easily to 90 degrees and more. My thumb bends back 90 degrees or more. This instability is throughout my entire body, but you can't see it because it's inside my body. Unless I show you some weird party trick, not from the outside, I look like a normal person. On a blood test and all the other tests that a doctor would do, on MRI scans, anything they do, x-rays, whatever, you can't see the molecular differences in my collagen. So I didn't know I had this condition until last year when I had the DNA test. So I lived 44 years before knowing any of this. But school was really weird for me. From the first day of school, for the whole of school, I was literally bullied every single day. For what? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I looked like some alien or whatever. I don't know. But everyone seemed to just hate me for no reason. And I was quite violently bullied for all of school. It came to become a serious problem when I was 10 years old because I was kicked in a very sensitive place. And when you have a collagen disorder that affects your internal organs and those internal organs don't repair very well when they're damaged, the injury is permanent. Think of that next time you're bullying some kid in the playground who's a bit weird. Maybe they've got a condition that when you kick them, they'll suffer for the rest of their life. Think about what you're doing to people. So I'm 10 years old. I'm in severe pain every single day. I go to the doctors. They make it worse. They tell me there's nothing they can do to stop the pain. They did 3 surgeries. They put me under anesthetic 3 times, and each time it got worse. None of the pills they gave me did anything. They gave me all these weird and wonderful potions and all sorts of stuff. Nothing helped. Everything just made it worse. So I was forced, against my will, to try and find a way to live in a body that didn't work. No kid should have to do that on their own. Alone. No help. Parents couldn't help me. Doctors couldn't help me. Teachers couldn't help me. Nobody. I was alone, completely in pain. You know how hard that is for a kid? And then on top of that pain, to be bullied every single day? So yeah, I didn't want to be on this planet anymore. But I'm still here. And I'm still here to tell the story because there's a lot of people that are in the position that I've been in my whole life and they have no help either. And I don't want anyone else to be in that position. So if you need help, I'm trying to help you. Okay? This is not... There's some scam to try and get money out of you. This is all for free. So if you just listen to the story and understand the origin, maybe you can understand that where this comes from so that you don't believe that I'm some kind of whack job scammer who's trying to con you out of money, because that's the last thing. I'm autistic, okay? I have a strong sense of justice and I can't lie to people intentionally. Lying is horrible to me. I can't do it. I will not lie to you on any part of this channel ever. What I say you may not agree with, but what I say is what I fundamentally believe as a human being, and all the stories I tell are the exact stories that happened to me. They're not made up for attention, like some people seem to claim. I don't know why. Why would I make this up for attention? That's just the saddest thing ever. To pretend that I've suffered all this pain so I can get famous. That's just sick. No, I'm not doing that. This is a genuine story of suffering that became better, and I want to help you. But in order to help you, you need to understand me a little bit. Otherwise, I'm just some random guy on the internet. Who am I? Who am I to help you? What's my experience? What's my knowledge? What's my qualifications? All these other things people want to know before they'll take your word for anything. Well, this pre-summit live stuff is just basically going to be me telling the origin stories of how this all started, so that when I go to the summit, if there's new people, they can go back through the content and they can learn what they need to learn before they go any further with this program. So I'm 10 years old, in pain every day. I didn't know what to do. I was absolutely lost. So I studied science. What? 10-year-old kid studying science? Yeah, I studied science. I got books from the library, books on anatomy. I learned all the names of all the bones in the whole human body when I was 10 years old. I learned where all the major muscle groups. I learned about nutrition and biochemistry, and I started to learn the laws of thermodynamics and all these other things because I wanted to understand how the universe worked and how the human body worked so that I could try not being in pain anymore. I wanted to cure the world of suffering because I had so much of it myself. I didn't want anyone else to do it. So I studied and studied and studied. And by the time we actually were taught science at school, I already knew everything that they were teaching. So I helped my teacher teach all the students that were struggling with science. And of course, everything about me that people made fun of me for. My voice, the way I walked, the way my body was floppy, the way I couldn't run, the way I couldn't do any sports. Like all these things, they'd be like, you're weird. And it was just endless. So I studied science. Nothing made any sense as to how I could get rid of this pain. It took me 25 years to figure it out eventually. But yeah. So I'm 10 years old, and one day, if you have ADHD, you know this story. You lost your PE kit, or you lost your backpack, or you lost whatever. We had to take our PE kit to school on days where we had PE lessons, and one day I forgot my PE kit. Whoops. And then, as a kind of punishment, if you didn't have your PE kit, you had to do PE in your underwear, barefoot. So I had to strip my underwear and do PE barefoot in my underwear, which is a little bit embarrassing. But I learned something that day. That day taught me something. When I was barefoot doing physical activity, my body worked better. My brain worked better. I didn't know how to describe what I was feeling, but it was different. It wasn't a magic cure all of a sudden, but I started to feel different, better than I did before. But when I was wearing shoes, I couldn't feel the ground. I had no sensory perception of what I was standing on. I was just standing on a rubber shoe, or a plastic shoe, or whatever the shoe was that I was made to wear. And they hurt my feet. Shoes really hurt my feet. I'm permanently disfigured now from shoes. My two smallest toes, they're crippled, they're twisted now because of shoes crushing my kid feet into these plastic boxes. And so I did this PE lesson barefoot, and I could feel more energy. This was outside. We were running around outside. We were sometimes in the hall, but when I was outside barefoot, it felt different, and I couldn't explain why. So I started to pretend, whoops, I forgot my shoes today. I didn't forget my shorts and my shirt, but I forgot to bring my... You were homeless, you were a drug addict, you were whatever, you were a hippie, or whatever kind of negative thing that they want to throw at you, because only poor people didn't wear shoes. Only bad people didn't wear shoes. It was regarded by the society I lived in as disgusting to not have shoes on. So every time I was barefoot, it was like, you're not wearing your shoes, you're disgusting. And to a kid, all the time, wherever I was. So if I wasn't wearing shoes, there was always someone going, grow up, man. Why does it bother people that someone's not wearing shoes? Even now, I'm 45 years old, and people look at me and go, not wearing shoes, are you homeless? No, not now. I was, but I'm not homeless now. But yeah, so I discovered that not wearing shoes made me feel better. I had more energy. My brain worked better. My ADHD symptoms were reduced. My brain fog was reduced. I could think clearer. I had less joint pain. I had less pain over my whole body. My muscles worked better. Everything seemed to work better, and I couldn't figure out what the difference was. But I wasn't allowed to be barefoot. Every time I was, shame, shame, shame. So I went a little bit crazy. Like, why is this? Why are you shaming everything that I do to try and not be in pain? Everything I did to try and feel better, shamed by society. That's ridiculous. That's just so ridiculous that every time I've made a change in my life that's made me feel better about the chronic illness I was born with has been shamed by society. Okay to be on whatever pills, that's fine. But if you do something natural that makes you feel good, you're some kind of weirdo. So, I discovered that being barefoot made my whole body feel better, but I wasn't allowed to be barefoot anywhere apart from at home. So I started to experiment. Like, what exactly is it about this that feels good? I didn't understand what acupressure, acupuncture, meridians, reflexology, or any of this so-called Eastern woo magic, mystical yoga and all this other stuff. None of that was in the 1980s in London. Like, no one talked about this kind of stuff. Sorry. So I didn't know what was going on, but I knew that if I stimulated the soles of my feet by walking on natural surfaces, my brain worked better. My body felt better. Now I know why, and I'm going to. This is why the first principle of the BPM lifestyle is to walk barefoot in nature as much as you can. Simple. That's all it is. Walk barefoot in nature as much as you can. You can't do it 24/7, obviously, but you can do it every day for 5 minutes. Why not? Why can't you go for a 5-minute walk in the grass once a day? Better more than 5 minutes, but if you can only do 1 minute, do 1 minute a day. Because of two principles. Grounding is about the electrical connection between the sky, your body, and the earth. You are a conductor. You conduct electricity. You know this, that if you touch the plug socket and it's live, you know about it because you're made of mostly water. And that water has lots of ions in it, and those ions transmit electricity through you. Okay? So the atmosphere, that we live on a planet, it's round. If you believe flat Earth, then maybe this is not the right channel for you. This is Science Channel. The Earth is a globe. Yes? The sun is firing radiation at the Earth constantly, and it knocks particles off the atmosphere. And this creates what we call an ionosphere, an ion sphere. We've got positively charged molecules. And we've got positively charged molecules, you've got negatively charged molecules, and then overall the solar wind kind of knocks them off, and you end up with more positive molecules than negative molecules. And this creates a voltage between the ground and the sky. This is what lightning is. It's the rebalancing of the Earth's electronic field. So you have the bolt of lightning go from the ground to the sky, and that's going to equalize this charge over time. Now, there's thousands of lightning bolts every day all over the planet. It's constantly in balance. It goes a bit more positive, and then it rebalances with a lightning bolt. And the same thing happens to you. If I know you've had this experience. You've walked around somewhere and you've touched something metal and you get a little shock. It's not a little shock, it hurts sometimes. You must have had these in your life at some point. That is your body transmitting electricity from you into the metal, which metal is touching the ground. It's obviously, when we build things, we build them into the ground. And often these metal things are grounded, and you touch it, and the electricity flows through you into the ground. This is supposed to happen with every single step that you take. You're not supposed to have charge build up inside you. If you have a charge building up inside you, it negatively affects the way your molecules interact with each other. I don't want to go too deep into the chemistry and the physics of it because I know that this is for a broader audience and you're not all scientists. So I'm going to try to describe it in an easier way that even children can understand who don't understand anything about science. Okay, so this is not going to be a deep technical description of it. But most people understand that the world is made of atoms. And atoms have a small nucleus of protons and neutrons and a cloud around it of electrons. You have this electron cloud around every single atom except for hydrogen. Basically, acid is basically hydrogen plus. It's just a pure proton. It doesn't have electrons. It wants electrons. That's why acids are reactive. They're trying to get electrons. Atoms would like to be stable. They like to have atoms balanced with their electrons. And it's more important that the electrons are balanced than it is that the charge is balanced. So, for example, we'll take the simplest atom that you can have, hydrogen, which is one proton and one electron. And the electron is whizzing around it in a circular, like a globe shape. It's round. But it doesn't have a friend. Electrons like to have a friend. And if it's not got a friend, it behaves very, very badly. It needs a friend to calm him down. Yeah. So you have electrons that want to be in pairs. You have an up electron and you have a down electron. We call it spin in chemistry. You have an up spin and a down spin. And they want to have one up, one down. And they like to be in pairs which are in different shells of the atom. I don't know. I want to try and describe it in the easiest way possible. It's not like planets that are going around a star like us. We're going in an elliptical path. It's like clouds, but each cloud is a different type of shape. And the more electrons you add to the atom, the different shapes they build. And it's like we call it a probability space. What's the probability of the electron being here as opposed to here? And it makes these really cool patterns. If you want to look it up on the internet, it's really cool. We have lots of amazing drawings now with 3D modeling to show you how these electron fields look. Now, electrons want to have a friend. They need to be paired. And the whole basis of chemistry, all of chemistry, is about electrons wanting to be connected to each other in pairs, and they want to be in the lowest energy state possible. They want to be as chill as they can. If there's a way that they can be more chill, they will react with something to make the overall energy of the electrons go down. That's why, for example, we have like a gunpowder explosion. You have the individual components that are sitting there, but the overall energy in there could be lower if it was in a different configuration. So when you apply heat to it and you cause this reaction to start, it causes a release of energy, a release of heat. And that heat escapes in the form of the explosion that you see when the gunpowder goes off. And the resulting energy of the molecules that are left over is a lower energy state than they started. So this is the basis of all of chemistry. Chemistry is about electrons trying to find a friend and be in the lowest energy state for that molecule. So if they don't have a friend, this is what we call a free radical. And you must have heard in some kind of TV advert about free radicals causing damage to your skin. Free radicals doing this. It's why we eat antioxidants. Antioxidants absorb these free radicals and they donate electrons to the radical because the radical wants to find another electron to make a pair. Because if they don't have one, they will find it. And if they want to find it, they will find it from your DNA, from your proteins, from your body in general. They'll find a way. They may break a double bond in a fatty acid chain and that fatty acid chain may then twist and become a different shape and not function anymore. They can cause all kinds of damage to you. And if you don't put out this radical fire that's burning inside of you, it will cause further damage to your body. When you disconnect your feet from the earth, you don't have that connection to the negatively charged earth. Earth is negatively charged, the atmosphere is positively charged, and there's a voltage between them. The voltage between the ground and the top of your head, if you're 2 meters tall, can be over 100 volts. It's a lot. The energy difference is a lot. Every meter it gets more. That's why lightning is millions of volts, because it's pretty big. It's very high up, and it takes millions of volts to get that spark. But you don't need to be millions of volts when you're just touching a metal thing. And so if you don't have a supply of electrons from the ground, your body equalizes itself with the atmosphere. But the atmosphere is positive. And over the day, if you're outside and you're being hit by the sun is going to hit your skin. It's going to knock electrons off the surface of your skin, from your face, from your hair, from your body in general. And if they're not replaced by electrons coming up from the ground, like they are in nature, in all animals that exist, every single animal on Earth is barefoot in nature. Only humans, the only species on Earth that don't do this. We're the only one who developed the amount of chronic illnesses that we have. Okay, so the Earth is supplying normally electrons through your feet to balance out this change in voltage, so your body becomes completely negatively charged along with the Earth. But you cut that supply off, your body's now positively charged. Okay, so you don't have enough electrons to make sure that your body is processing chemistry optimally. Okay, and then people eat food. That food goes into your stomach. It gets digested by your stomach acid and enzymes into individual components. Those components are absorbed into your body and they become you. But when you burn these fuels, like the fatty acids and the carbohydrates that we eat for energy, your mitochondria, your little power cell, it's like little batteries that are inside each cell. You may have 30 trillion cells. Each cell can have 3 mitochondria, maybe some have more if they're in a highly active area. So you've got all these mitochondria that all need to have electrons, because what the mitochondria does is it basically converts whatever fuel you have, whether that's a fatty acid or a carbohydrate as the original source. They get broken down in a cycle called the Krebs cycle, or some people call the citric acid cycle. And in this cycle, we release energy in the form of electrons. The electrons get passed down what's called the electron transport chain, and they generate some molecules called ATP. ATP is your energy currency. Every single cell in your body, all the processes of your whole body, everything run on ATP. ATP is how your body transfers energy around your body. It converts whatever you eat into a single food for all the other biochemical processes. But this process of making ATP, if there's not enough electrons, it generates what's called reactive oxygen species. It's a very long way of saying oxygen-free radicals. We've got these free radicals being produced because there's not enough electrons for this process to be efficient. So these electrons that you would have had from the ground if you were an animal in nature, they're not there. So these free radicals will go around and they'll find them from somewhere else. They may attack a double bond in a fatty acid molecule, they may attack a protein, they may attack your DNA. And if your DNA gets damaged, it can't be replicated. And that cell may end up with a mutation that may end up being cancerous, or it may die out, or whatever. We don't know what that damage is going to be. So you want to try to minimize that damage. That's why people suggest that you eat antioxidants, like vitamin C is an antioxidant. I take vitamin C every morning. as a backup. But if you supply electrons every day just by walking 5 minutes outside barefoot on the grass, preferably more than once a day, but each time you do it, you're restocking your body's supply of electrons, and you're basically putting out this fire of free radicals that are going around eating your body. It's not some magic woo-woo, this is just chemistry. Chemistry is electron transfer from one atom to another, or a combination of those two atoms to form a molecule. You have millions and millions of different kinds of molecules in you, and to understand the chemistry of all of them is impossible for normal people. You don't have to understand all of it. You have to understand a few basic rules. And this is a very fundamental basic rule. Some people call it woo-woo magic when you talk about grounding. This is not woo-woo magic. This is just science. Science that appears like magic it's just the fact that people don't understand it. It's not that complicated. Okay, so we've got. I hope you can see the idea behind this, that you're not trying to cure something by walking barefoot outside. You're trying to reduce the chance of future damage. You're trying to put out this fire of radicals that are flying around your body, damaging you. And the quickest and easiest way to do that is to walk barefoot outside. Okay, I get it. In the summer, that's okay. But what about when it's winter? Oh, I'm going to freeze. I still do it in the snow. It's not comfortable, but okay, 10 seconds or 1 minute or however long you can go. I walked for 2.5 hours in the snow one day just to prove it's possible. Talk to Wim Hof and say, oh, you can't be barefoot outside in the winter. He'll laugh at you. So humans need, it's a fundamental need to be outside barefoot as much as you can, at least once a day, if not more, because you need these electrons. This is fundamental chemistry. But what else does it do? It's not just about electrons and mitochondria. You have blood flying around in your veins and arteries that supplies every single cell of your body with oxygen and food. And it takes all the waste products away from the cells and then into your liver and kidneys for processing. And if your blood doesn't function correctly, doesn't carry the oxygen to your brain properly, what do you think happens? Disease starts to accumulate over time, slowly, day by day, little bit by little bit, so slowly you don't notice. 1 day, 2 days, 10 years, 20 years, slowly the damage occurs, little bit by little bit. Too slow for you to register, but the damage is being done on a molecular level all the time. And your body is constantly repairing damage, getting more damage, repairing damage, and eventually it gets to the point where it can't repair the damage quickly enough, and then you die. But the grounding practice of walking barefoot aligns your body with a negative charge. Yeah. So your body is now slightly negatively charged. And if you played around with magnets, as a kid, you put the two north poles of a magnet together, there's a force pushing them apart. You can't push them together if it's north to north. If it's north to south, they stick together. North to north, they repel each other. Because the field is going the same, it's the same field, and they're repelling each other rather than opposing fields attracting each other. So if you do that with, imagine your blood cell, your red blood cell is like a magnet, and it has a negative charge all around it because it's grounded to the earth. And this is another red blood cell that's negatively charged. And they touch each other, boom, the negative charges repel. So the blood cells, they stay away from each other. They don't clot together. How many people have heart attacks and strokes? It's because of blood clots or atherosclerosis, making the arteries and veins smaller so that a blood clot becomes more dangerous than it would be if you didn't have the atherosclerosis. So they both compound each other. So if you're grounded, your negatively charged body, your blood cells bounce off each other. It reduces the viscosity of your blood. So it makes your blood more runny. So your blood flows through your veins and arteries smoother. It doesn't get stuck in your capillaries, because when you get down to the capillary size in your skin, you're almost single file molecules, single file cells of the blood cells going through. They're absolutely tiny. The last thing you need is a blockage in any of these pipes. And if you're not grounded, your body has a slight positive charge in alignment with the atmosphere of wherever you are. That will change. The atmospheric voltage will be different depending on where you are on Earth, what you're doing, what building you're in, whatever. It's different. So different times of day, you'll have a different amount of positive charge in your body. Some of your blood cells will be negatively charged. Some of your blood cells will be positively charged because they're missing the electrons that they need from the ground. And boom, they stick together like magnets. That's okay if it's 2 cells. But what if it's 20, 30, 100 cells and you form a little clot? Maybe it's small enough it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. Maybe it's small enough it's not going to cause a problem. What if it does? What if it does cause a problem? What if it blocks one of your really important arteries or veins in your head? Boom, stroke. You might die, you might not, you might lose half your function. If it's in your heart and it stops the blood flow to your heart attack, maybe you'll live, maybe you won't. If you do survive, then your life is going to change. It's going to change a lot. My mum had a heart attack not long ago. She's still here because she made some changes for the BPM lifestyle. But yeah, you don't want a blood clot in your heart. You don't want a blood clot in your brain. So how can you reduce the risk of future blood clots? Walk barefoot in nature. 5 minutes. Wake up in the morning, go for a little walk. If you don't have a garden, find a park. If there's no park, find a field. If there's no field, find a river. If you live by the beach, walk on the beach. Somewhere. There must be somewhere that is natural, that is made of earth. If you live somewhere where there is zero nature, you're in a really dangerous place. You really need to move. Or go find somewhere. I don't care where. I don't care what or how. Doesn't matter how. And if you're too scared for your feet to touch the ground, touch a tree. Your hands touch the tree, because the tree is grounded. The tree acts like an antenna between the earth and the sky, dragging energy down into the earth. That's what they do. That's what trees do. They create our oxygen. They bring in energy to the earth. They create all of the food and everything else. So touch a tree. Go outside. Touch something natural. If you're in a wheelchair, wheel yourself outside and touch something natural. Especially if you're in a wheelchair, because you've got rubber wheels between you and the ground. You need this even more than anybody else. So, just go outside and ground yourself as many times a day as you can. I just stay barefoot permanently, and I'm always grounded. So I don't worry about this anymore. I don't have to think, oh, have I done this today? I'm always barefoot. I always ground every day. I walk my dog barefoot. I just walk barefoot all the time because I know how much it benefits me. And with a condition that affects my blood vessels, the last thing I want is for my blood to be clotting, because that's what killed my granddad. He had a blood clot in his heart. He died at 48. I'm 45. I'm not ready to go yet. I was ready to go when I was 15 because I didn't understand how to heal my body. But now my life is amazing. And I want you to feel that amazingness too. I'm not doing this to try to scam you or whatever. It's not woo-woo magic. Just do it. It doesn't hurt. Go and just walk in the grass. If you're allergic to grass, walk somewhere else. Find somewhere that's not full of glass, not full of dog shit, not full of fire ants. So many people make up some random excuses why they can't do this. It's amazing how creative they are. You say, walk barefoot for 5 minutes. Oh, what if I trod on some broken glass? Maybe look where you're going and don't stand there if there's glass. Magic. Oh, wonderful. You've fixed your problem already with one simple thing. Open your eyes. All of the arguments are based in fear and shame. They won't do it through fear they're going to stand on something, or they're fearful of the shame of people going, why are you not wearing shoes? Because that's what happens every time you go outside without wearing shoes. It's just ridiculous. So, you've got now two benefits. You're reducing the free radical damage in your body completely for free. You are improving the blood flow through your body completely for free. You are reducing your risk of high blood pressure, stroke, and heart attack for free. That alone is enough reason to do this. But wait, there's more. There's so much more to walking barefoot in nature. So what's next? Why is it specific to walk barefoot in nature compared to walk barefoot inside? One of the most important things to take into account is that in nature, all the surfaces are different. Every step you take on grass is a different patch of grass. It's different leaves. It's different structure. It feels different on every step. In human-made environments, floors are smooth and continuous texture. The carpet, a rug, laminate floor, lino, whatever, tiles. It's a smooth, continuous texture that doesn't change. When your sensory nerves interact with your environment, you feel texture. When I touch this desk, I feel the electrons in the surface of the desk. If my hand touches the same part of the desk every time, it's the same texture. Yeah? If I move my hand across it, it's a changing texture. And your brain is a pattern matching engine. It's looking at all of your sensory inputs and it's trying to combine all of those inputs into a hologram in your brain of what you experience as Earth. Your brain is building your own virtual reality show inside your skull. What you see is not real. You see what your brain makes from this sensory information it receives. Everyone creates their own version of reality. And when you touch different textured surfaces, it's an update on your brain. It's like, this is new, this is new, this is new, this is new. Every step, new, 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 new information, new information, new information, new information. Activates your brain. It activates your entire body because your feet have to send the signal from your toes to your brain. So every single nerve, every single muscle, every single fiber in your body is activated. You are an electrical being. You transmit electricity from your thoughts through your brain to the ground, from the ground through your body to your brain. And this is a constant backwards and forwards transmission of energy from your thoughts through you to the ground, from the ground through you to your thoughts. And this is a continuous process for your entire life. You can measure this electromagnetic field around people. It's beautiful. You are like a torus. You have this donut-shaped field around you that goes out meters from you. It would fill this room. They call it, in mystical terms, it's called the aura. But it's just your body's natural electromagnetic field. So you've got this constant changing environment. You're also moving through space, so your vision is also constantly changing and updating. Every breath of wind on your skin is new information. When you're in a closed environment, the room isn't changing. The wind isn't changing. There's nothing changing. And your brain doesn't recognize there's any difference. So it starts to shut down its sensory processing of the environment. Nothing's changing. There's no point listening to it anymore. So you become hypersensitive to change. So now you're outside. Everything is changing. And changing signals trigger dopamine. When your body senses something new, dopamine is triggered. That's why social media is so addictive, because every scroll is new. It's new information. and it's tailored to what's most likely to trigger you to swipe again. They've designed these algorithms to know because they know how dopamine works. They just keep the secrets from you, so you don't understand how things work. So you're trapped in these dopamine traps where you're just endlessly doing whatever repetitive thing they want you to do. Dopamine is about repetition of something to receive a reward. In this case, a reward means a changing sensory feedback. Your environment changes, you get a reward. So you scroll your phone, you get a reward. You watch TV, you get a reward. You eat some food, you get a reward, because you're changing the state of the cells, the nerve ending cells that are in your mouth, your nose, your eyes, your ears, your skin. And these changing sensations trigger dopamine. How many people have ADHD? And what is ADHD? ADHD is dopamine regulation problems. Parts of your brain don't have enough dopamine to function. Why? Why don't they have enough dopamine? Because we've cut off our dopamine supply. We've cut it off. We're inside all day, and we're never walking barefoot outside. And when we do go outside, we have shoes on. And what is a shoe? One, it's an insulation pad between you and the ground. It's a softening pad, so it takes away a lot of the impact that you get from the ground. But it's also a non-changing sensory environment. It feels, if you're wearing socks, all your nerves are doing is feeling the sock on your skin permanently. It doesn't move, it doesn't change. So your body just dulls down that signal. It's not changing. I don't need to take notice of it. So there's no dopamine. Nothing's changing, no dopamine. So dopamine level goes down. So kids running out in the playground, got all the happy, changing environment, full of dopamine, everything's going, and they come into the classroom. Not allowed to take their shoes off, have to sit completely still, can't talk, can't move, can't do anything apart from just write down what the teacher's saying. What an absolutely ridiculous thing that is to do to a child. It's trying to learn, making them sit still, not move, don't talk. That's what it was in the 80s. I don't know what it's like now. I can't imagine it being much better. So you're cutting off the kids' dopamine supply. Nothing in the classroom is changing. So that's why they're distracted by some noise or some squirrel or whatever. Oh, look, a squirrel is the classic ADHD joke. Because your brain is desperate for something to change. Needs stimulation. Your body needs stimulation. Your brain needs to be stimulated. And walking barefoot outside is completely free and will stimulate your brain to a level where your cognition improves, brain fog improves, focus improves, energy improves. Everything improves just by walking barefoot outside on a constantly changing natural surface. It's not that hard to do. Every single human on earth can do this. If you don't have legs, then go out in your wheelchair and touch a tree with your hands and move your hands up and down the tree and feel the texture of the tree. There you've done it. If you don't have arms or legs, you have just a body and a face, then find somewhere safe and just roll on the grass. Just roll. If you've got no arms or legs, roll on the grass. Find some way to spend a few minutes connected to Mother Nature. Why is that so hard that nobody seems to do it? Why do you think when you go on holiday, you're on the beach for a week and you feel so much better and refreshed, and then you go home back to your box that doesn't change and your clothes that cut off your nervous system from the environment, and then you just stuff in your face with all these processed foods to trigger your dopamine, and you're scrolling your phone and you're watching your Netflix for hours or whatever, just stimulating yourself from external sources that you have to pay for, while you're ignoring the one major source that's free that also has 100 million potential health benefits every second, because it's killing all of these free radicals in you and helping you reduce blood clots and stimulating dopamine and stimulating serotonin. What's not to like here? Okay, so we've got how many benefits now? With 3 major benefits, but there's more. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I'm going to tell you all of them, because why not? You need to know that this is going to help you. Okay, this is just so simple. It's so simple and completely free. Walk outside barefoot. Just do it. It's not going to kill you, I promise. Just find a bit where there's no dog poo. Okay? You don't have to run miles. Just walk on the spot. Stay in the same place. Find 1 square foot of ground that's safe. Stand there. Okay? There's 1 square foot of earth somewhere where you live. Don't lie to me and say that there's not 1 square foot of earth that you could do this on. Okay? You're just making up excuses. If you know, whatever excuse you have, just forget it. It's not real. Okay? Whatever excuse you're going to come up with, they're all just fears that you've constructed from nothing, from the environment that you've been forced to grow up in, where it's shamed to be barefoot. But yeah, other than the public shaming, there's no reason to not do this. So, should we go even more? Should we talk about energy? Let's talk about energy. So we mentioned it before about mitochondria, your energy batteries of your cells that make all the ATP that you need in order to function. Every single chemistry process in your body that uses energy uses ATP. And dopamine is how that energy is directed to where it needs to go. In your brain, part of your brain controls your muscles. The motor nerves, they go all the way from your brain down your spinal cord into the arms and legs and wherever parts of your body to go to the muscle, to tell the muscle to contract. And this is a tiny little dopamine hit. Dopamine goes bang, move, do this. And when you do that action, your brain learns the reaction. Yeah, so my brain is going to tell my finger, scroll up on my phone. It's a simple motion. It doesn't use very many muscles. It's a very direct connection from your brain to the finger. Easy. You can do that all day. Yeah? Easy peasy. You don't have to use much energy to do that. And you get a constantly changing video box in front of you of new information. So your brain's like, okay, so 1 little flick of my finger, I get unlimited, constantly changing environmental feedback, artificially generated environmental feedback. So your brain's like, yeah, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. Hours can go by and you'll still do it again, do it again, do it again. You're using minimal amounts of energy to do that. For maximum dopamine from the changing environment. It's about the energy balance between how much dopamine and energy does it take to get the reward. And if it's a large amount of energy needed for the reward, then you're less likely to do it, especially if you have ADHD. So how do you get more energy? Well, as we said before, when you're negatively charged, you have an excess supply of electrons. This changes the cell membrane, porous, the permeability of the membrane. So you have a membrane where molecules go in and out. It's made of what's called phospholipids. They're little. It's like soap, kind of like a soap bubble. You have these long tails, and these long tails stick together, and on the outside edges there's a positively charged, there's phosphorus group. It's phospholipid. So the lipid area in the middle is little tails, long tails of carbon atoms, and then you have these phosphorus atoms on the ends of it, which are positively charged. So they like water environments, and they prevent things from going through them. And when you have a balanced you've got this negatively charged body balance to the earth, it makes the membrane permeability better. So that the molecules can get in and out more efficiently. So what it does is it improves the efficiency of ATP production. So you get more ATP made from the same cell, the same cell with, maybe it's got 1 or 2 or 3 mitochondria in it. It's going to produce more energy per cell than if it's not grounded, because it's got the extra electrons that it needs to power the electron transport chain to create these ATP molecules. And it increases that by as much as, in some studies, about 10% more energy for free, for nothing. 10% more energy just by taking your shoes off and going outside. So imagine you do that from breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Instead of thinking, oh, I need to eat 3 times a day, make sure you get grounded 3 times a day. And the first second you step on the natural ground, you will get these electrons into you. It's instant. And your mitochondria, for the amount of time that you're grounded, will function better. 10% more energy. When I would go for hikes, I've been for hikes wearing shoes and for hikes barefoot. And when I'm barefoot, I can walk all day. I walked 37 kilometers barefoot. Wasn't tired at all. But if I wear shoes, I'm tired within 10 minutes. It's just an endless supply of energy because you're not starving your mitochondria of the electrons they need in order to create ATP. So simple, and you get all this extra energy for free. So you're now reducing free radical damage. You're reducing blood clot risk. You're increasing dopamine and serotonin. You're increasing the amount of energy that your cells can produce. How many more benefits do you need to make this part of your daily routine? It has to be part of your daily routine. All these benefits you get for nothing. No cost, absolute zero. A lot of people, they think grounding's a scam because there's these companies that sell grounding sheets for your bed that you plug into the wall, and the sheets have copper, silver wire. Silver wire usually. They have silver wire woven into the fabric. So when you're in bed, you're lying on this sheet that conducts electricity that's connected to the ground of your house, assuming that the ground of your house is grounded to the earth. Mine is because I built my house electrics. So your bed then becomes grounded. So you have the supply of electrons while you sleep. So you're spending maybe 8 hours in a negatively charged state. This is not to cure you of any diseases. This is just to allow your body to function the way it was supposed to function. They do kind of oversell the benefits of these grounding products. They make them sound that they're going to cure everything, but it really is a bad marketing strategy because it makes it look like stupid woo magic. If they actually explain how it works on a molecular level, then maybe people wouldn't be so skeptical that when they make it up that it's going to cure everything, then it does sound like a scam, but it's not. But the benefits of sleeping on a grounding sheet are a tiny, tiny fraction of the benefits of actually really grounding outside in nature, because you have all the extra benefits of the exercise because you're moving, the sensory stimulation of the environment, the sensory stimulation from the ground to your feet, and the grounding of the electrons in your body doing all of that work that I've just told you that happens. But you don't get all of those benefits when you're asleep. You get some of the benefits. But you need to do both. I do both. I have a grounding mat on my bed, and I ground outside every day. If you can't afford to buy one of these grounding mats, don't buy one. Just go outside barefoot. It's free. If you can afford one and you want to have some extra help, then buy one, but not under the belief that it's going to magically fix everything. No, it's not going to magically fix everything because it depends what's wrong with you. If you have cancer, it's not going to magically cure your cancer. It may help you deal with it better, but you have to be realistic about what you're expecting it to do. It's not going to fix your broken leg. No, it's going to allow your body to heal faster because you're not inhibiting it by causing more damage with the free radicals that are produced in your body constantly. So you're reducing your risk of future disease, not trying to cure what you already have. You can reduce your symptoms of what you already have to a point where maybe they don't affect you anymore. Imagine that. Imagine the symptom, whatever symptom you've got that's bothering you the most. Imagine if it wasn't there. How would that change your life? How much better would you feel with just one of the symptoms gone? Maybe you've got 20, maybe you've got 30 symptoms, maybe you've been diagnosed with countless diseases because doctors don't know what to do. So they just label you with everything to make you go away. Maybe they just ignore you in the first place. Maybe they pretend your symptoms aren't real. They say, oh, you're making it up. This happens a lot with EDS people. Doctors don't help them. Never helped me. So that's why I'm trying to help you. So There's even more benefits. You've got more energy now. You've got less free radical damage. Free radical damage causes inflammation in your body. So you're reducing inflammation and you're reducing your risk of heart disease and stroke. How many more benefits do you want before you do it? Are you ready? Come on, just take your shoes off, go outside and go for a walk. It might hurt to start with. If you're walking on rocks, yeah, you need to train. I'm barefoot 24/7 now. I can run on rocks, but most people can't. They need to start slowly. That's why in the course that you get for free, if you join for the summit, you get the course for free. There's a whole module where I talk about how to optimize your body by being barefoot outside. There's like 14 lessons or something where I go into the deep science of it. I'm not going to do that complicated stuff on here because it will take hours, and most people on YouTube don't want to sit there for hours. But that's why it's in the course, and it's free. So just go there, and it's already done for you. If I put stuff on YouTube, then it ends up getting issues with people blocking it because it's woo magic, it's fake healing, it's all the nonsense that they come up with to block you from knowing the truth about how your body works. So I think it's 14 lessons or something, but it's continuously going to be updated until I die. I will always do this because people need help, and I have the ability to help people, so I do that. I take care of my needs first, and when my needs are met, I help other people meet their needs. And this is a fundamental need of all human beings to be grounded. All animals, your dog, your cat, every single creature on earth needs to be grounded because every animal uses the same biological basics of mitochondria to make energy. Every animal cells in plant cells use mitochondria for energy. It's how all of life evolved. So take care of them. Give them what they need. They need electrons. So walk barefoot outside, and the mitochondria will be happy little power stations, and they will give you more power than if you starve them to death. Why are you starving your mitochondria when you don't need to? I get it. Winter is cold. You don't want to be outside barefoot. Okay, buy a grounding mat then. You don't want to spend money? Well, that's your choice. But you can still go outside barefoot in the winter. It's not going to kill you. It doesn't have to be for a 10-mile hike. I did 10 kilometers barefoot in the snow just to prove it's possible. Your body warms you up. If you're barefoot in the snow, you warm up. That's how your body's been designed for millions of years. How do you think people survived ice ages? We just did because our body adapts. Your body adapts to your environment. Okay? If you stimulate it with environmental changes, like walking outside when it's cold, walking outside when it's hot, your body learns what that signal means. And over time, your body gets stronger because you've experienced this thing. Maybe this thing was uncomfortable. Maybe you stood on some stone and it hurt your foot a little bit. Oh, you stood on a stone. And people cry when, I stood on Lego. Oh, it's the worst thing ever. Oh, I jump on Lego. For fun. It doesn't hurt at all. It hurts because you've broken your feet, basically, by a lifetime wrapped in a plastic box. Why do that to yourself? Why damage yourself on purpose? That makes no sense. But everyone does it. Everyone does it. It's just normal to damage your body. I don't understand why people do it. And then if you ever say anything against these weird behaviors that are so dangerous in the long term, you're some sort of weirdo and freak. Doesn't make any sense to me why people do that, but that's what happens. That's the way we live. Most people are not scientists. They don't understand any of this biology and chemistry and physics. They don't understand it at all. They had to do it at school because they were forced to, but they don't. Soon the last thing they want to do is learn about science. But you're made of biology. You are biology. If you don't understand it, then you're at the mercy of people who do. And most people are not on your side. They will use their knowledge to control you, which they do. Food industry, media industries, gambling industries, the drug industries, pharmaceutical industries, medical industries, they rely on you not understanding anything so they can tell you what to do and charge you ridiculous amounts of money in the process. And people just pay them because they have no other choice. You don't, when you've got cancer, the only option is go to the doctor. And if they say, yep, we'll give you this treatment, $100,000, please. And you're like, I don't have $100,000. And they say, oh, well, go and book your funeral. That's sick. That's absolutely sick. The American medical system is a joke. If you live in America, sorry. European countries, we have socialized medicine. It's paid for from taxes. We pay our taxes and we go to the hospital where it's free. I pay $150 a month for my national insurance here, for my health insurance. $150 a month and everything is free, more or less. If I go to the hospital, I might pay $1 or $2 admin fee or something, but that's it. Well, medicine is more or less free. You pay a token contribution, a couple of dollars for a prescription. But not in America. You're paying thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for treatments, even if you have insurance. Why aren't you looking after your body? Why do you just treat it like a garbage can until you get sick and then spend all your money on these pills that are not going to help you? Why are you doing it? You're doing it because you don't know anything else? You don't know any other way? Well, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to teach you a different way. I'm trying to teach you the BPM lifestyle. And the first of 21 different principles. Imagine there's the benefits of just one principle. All the benefits I've talked about, just walking barefoot outside 5 minutes a day. Better if you do more. But the benefits of just that one principle alone could potentially reduce your risk of a heart attack and stroke and give you more energy and focus for free. But there's 20 more principles that are also free that you could compound on top of being barefoot outside. Imagine it if you could do that every day, stack all 21 principles and do that consistently for a year, then tell me what symptoms are still left. If you still have symptoms left after doing that, then you are able to target those conditions more effectively. If you're just throwing in random pills to treat some random symptom without really knowing what's causing that symptom, and if they've actually done some official testing on you and they've diagnosed you have this issue with this particular enzyme, this particular protein, this particular receptor or whatever, they've found the reason why, and the medication is treating that reason why. For example, let's just take type 1 diabetes, for example. They know that your pancreas isn't producing enough insulin. Yeah? So no amount of walking barefoot outside is going to fix that. Yeah? It's not. You need to supply insulin. So you will have insulin injections, either manually or through a pump or whatever, because your body doesn't have this essential component for life. So that's an example of something that is a symptom that has a direct test and a direct treatment for that symptom. But if they're not actually finding the real reason and they're just throwing random painkillers at you just to get you out of the office, they're not investigating the why behind something. And no doctor's ever done that with me. They've never found out the why. They just treat the symptom. Oh, you've got pain, here's a painkiller. You've got an infection, here's an antibiotic. Whatever. Or you've got inflammation, here's an anti-inflammatory. You've got this, here's this. But why do I have that in the first place? Why am I allergic to the world? Why? Tell me why. They don't ever tell you why. So if they haven't done any testing on you, how do you know what the origin of the symptom is? So when you've gone through all 21 principles of the BPM lifestyle, you will have less symptoms than you did before. I guarantee it. How many will still be left? I don't know what you have, so I can't tell you that. There's no one who can tell you that. But you can try to reduce your potential future damage by actually giving your body what it needs. And the most fundamental thing it needs is electrons. You are an electrical being. You are living electricity. Every cell of your body needs electricity to function. In the Matrix film, Morpheus holds up a battery and is like, humans have been turned into a battery. Yeah, because we are electrical. All life is electrical. It's about the electrons moving from one place to another and changing their state. They're either building bigger molecules or they're breaking bigger molecules into smaller molecules. And there's constantly changing chemical reactions happening in you all the time. But in order for that function to work optimally, you need to be grounded. I hope this is making sense. I'm trying to not use science language here, but I'm worried that if I don't use scientific terms, then the scientists will go, oh, you're not talking about it correctly, or something. Everyone's always got a problem with something that I say. This has been my life. It doesn't matter where I am, what I do, who I'm with. Always someone's got some issue with something that I say, even though what I say is quite simple science. It's not. I mean, I understand it. Quantum physics is a little bit complicated, and no one really understands it, even if you're an actual quantum physicist. So, to get a normal person in the street to understand it is hard. But this isn't hard to understand. This really isn't. It's not hard to understand. It's not hard to do. There was a really cool study. I'm so glad it actually happened. They took a school for the kids, and they did brain scans on them to see about their focus, their attention, and their ability to learn. They did. Some of the kids would spend break time running around outside. Some of the kids would spend break time running around outside barefoot. And the kids that were grounded performed better at school. Noticeably better. The brain scans were better. The performance was better. And the only thing they changed was they took their shoes off. You are damaging your children's brains by forcing them to be wearing shoes all the time. Second a child starts to walk, they force these babies to put shoes on. Why are you torturing your children? Why? Why are you damaging their cells? Why are you damaging their brains? They need to feel the ground. They need sensory feedback from their environment. That's how brains learn. It's how you learn to walk. You feel the ground. You can't feel the ground with shoes on. I was falling over all the time as a kid because I couldn't feel the ground anymore. My brain couldn't work because I was disconnected from my environment, so I was daydreaming in class all day. Couldn't focus on anything because I had no dopamine. But I wasn't allowed to take my shoes off in school. It wasn't allowed. You had to wear hard plastic shoes all day, every day. For what? Why do I need to wear shoes sitting at my desk in a classroom? I'm not walking on broken glass. I'm not walking on a fire pit. It's a desk at school. Let them take their shoes off. Why can't they have something on the ground, like a ball or a massage roller or something, that they can rub their feet on to get some stimulation, some tiny amount of dopamine, so they can actually focus and learn on what they're trying to be force-fed by the teacher? Why don't you teach them that at school, how to regulate their nervous system, not how to copy and paste? What's the point in learning to copy and paste now? We have AI. Teaching kids to copy and paste is pointless. Memorizing all this random stuff for no reason. Teach them critical thinking. Teach them how their body works. Teach them how to run a business. Teach them how to look after themselves, teach them how to look after their families. No one teaches any of this stuff. People are clueless. There's one principle of 21 principles could potentially change the trajectory of your life. Imagine when you stack all 21, and there's more, but like I can't, I'd want to make the course infinitely big, so I've narrowed it down to 21 things that anyone can do anywhere. If you're a human, you need to do this. It's free. Just do it. I'm not forcing you to do it. You don't have to do any of it. But if you don't, you'll damage your health. It's your choice. It's your choice if you want to drink alcohol. If you drink alcohol, you're going to damage your health. If you don't drink alcohol, you're not intentionally poisoning yourself. But if you want to drink alcohol, that's your business. Absolutely up to you. You want to drink poison, you can drink poison all day. I can't stop you. Don't matter what I say. If you want to drink poison, you'll drink poison. If you want to wear shoes, you'll wear shoes. I'm just explaining the damage that you're going to do long term if you do that forever. Old people in nursing homes, they need to be grounded. If you're in a hospital bed, the hospital bed needs to be grounded. Come on, this is simple. Why can't you do it? Why are hospitals not doing this? Oh, well, it's not proven to work now. Come on. This is scientifically known now. This is not woo-woo magic. If you have a hospital, why aren't your beds grounded in some way? It's not like it's going to cost them billions of dollars. What it might do is actually heal people a little bit better. Oh, why would a hospital want to heal people? Because then they don't come back as customers. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why the doctors never talk about it, because if you heal someone, then they don't need a doctor anymore. Maybe that's why it's shamed so much. Because they don't want people healed. They don't want people happy. They don't want people focused and be able to function in life. They want you dependent on them, on their product, on their service. They want you to be thinking that your child is broken, so it needs to be on speed every day. Really? That's the only option, to give a child speed. Amphetamine. That's what it is. It's amphetamine. Adderall is amphetamine. It's given to children as young as 6. So you're telling a child who's 6 years old, you need to be on mind-altering drugs because you can't sit still. You can't focus on this pointless lesson that I'm trying to reprogram into you. If the child is dangerous and disruptive, then I get it. Okay, you want to drug that child into compliance because they're dangerous. But if the child's not dangerous, they're just craving for some kind of stimulation, why not let them be stimulated? Let them move at their desk. They can move their arms occasionally. If you're a teacher, why not every 20 minutes let your children stand up and just jump 10 times on the spot? Let them move. Why can't they move? Why do they have to be so rigid and silent and not speak and not do anything? How are you supposed to learn in that environment? Let them be barefoot. If your playground is so dangerous that a child will be in some way damaged if they're barefoot, then fix your playground. Why can't they be outside in the grass barefoot? Say to them, teach them this in a lesson. Say, when you are outside barefoot, this is what happens. Show them the science. There's plenty of studies. It's not like this is someone made up one day. We actually have lots of studies that show this in all the scientific detail that you could ever dream of wanting to know about. But most people don't understand it. So if I link a study, you're probably not going to read it or understand it anyway. But all the science is there. We know it works. Let the kids do it. Have a lesson. Have one day a week where you teach them something about how to manage their body, because their parents aren't going to teach them. Parents don't know. If you're a parent and you have a kid, you need to teach them this. Everything you learn in the BPM lifestyle, teach to your children. because they need to know. The younger you start, the better. The younger you can start optimizing your biochemistry, the more chance that you have of living a happy, healthy, longer life. And it starts by taking your shoes off. It's so simple. I'm not claiming it's going to cure everything. That's just stupid. Anyone who says that, they're an idiot. But it can improve the quality of your life. And it's free. It's free. Just do it. All the resistance that I wonder how many people are going, oh, right now. Oh my God, I have to go outside without shoes? No. Oh. The amount of people that it sparks utter terror into. That, oh my God, be outside in nature with no shoes on. Oh. And they come up with all these anxiety, imagination fears. They're like, oh, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this? What if? So what? So what? To any of the beliefs, it doesn't matter. It's grass. It's not going to kill you, okay? Don't stand where there's a snake. Don't stand where there's a spider, okay? Just don't go there. Go somewhere where there isn't one of those animals. Go somewhere where there isn't ticks. Go somewhere where there isn't broken glass or dog poo or whatever other thing you're imagining is going to be in the grass that you're just standing on. Stand on a bit that doesn't have these things that you imagine. Yeah? It's not hard. Stop trying to put barriers between you and doing something that's free and healthy. If you want to know the more scientific details, it's in the course. So just go and learn it. It's free. Just click the link in the description and you go there and you learn it and it's free. Just do it. The course at the moment is only 6 modules. The full 21 module course isn't built yet. It will be built when I've got feedback from people on the first 6, so I know what people need and how. And there's no point making 21 modules and people don't like the way I teach. So I need some clients to come in, test it for free, to let me know if I teach it in a way that makes it understandable for the general population. Because I know that most people don't have a science background. So when you start using all the big fancy words that people can't pronounce, it shuts them down because they don't know what you're talking about. So if I could translate it into some normal language that more people can understand, or even if you don't understand the science at all, just trust me. I'm not trying to hurt you. How is it in any way trying to hurt you to improve the quality of your life, to try and do something that will make your life a little bit better? What if it's only 1% better? Cool, 1%. 1% is great. Get 1% better every day. You're a different person in 3 months. It takes time for your body to undo the damage you've already done to it. Depends on how old you are now, how much damage has been done to you. If you're 10 years old, you have less damage than someone who's 50. The quicker you can start integrating these principles, the more chance you have of reducing your risk of future disease. Never risk is 0. It's never going to be 0. It's going to be lower. How much lower? It depends on your genetics, your environment, and your mental state. The BPM lifestyle is the balance of those 3 things. If you want to learn more, the course is free. Go sign up. bpmlifestyle.com. If you want to join the summit, bpmlifestyle.com/summit. Just enter your email address. I'll send you the login and you can join for free. Or you pay $99. Right, if you want to join now, just pay $99. If you want to wait for the summit, it's free. But if you pay, then it's lifetime access forever until I die. Because if I'm dead, then I can't host it anymore. So it's my lifetime access, not your lifetime access. Because after I die, then there won't be any more teaching. But if I'm alive, my heart is beating, my BPM is still going. If I have a BPM, I will teach BPM. That's one of the reasons why it's called BPM. It's not just biophysical mental, it's your heart BPM. It's about music. Music is one of the principles. It's about using music to control your mind and your body and your environment to make you feel good. Why not feel good? You don't have to feel miserable and sad and depressed and in pain every minute of every day. There's some ways that you can feel better. Maybe you can't do all of the 21 principles. Maybe there's things that are too difficult for you. Okay, do 15. If you can't do 15, do 10. If you can't do 10, do 1. Do something. Take one step forward. Make one little change. Just try it. But don't do it for one day and go, oh, it didn't change my life in one day. Nothing happens in those short time scales. It needs to be regularly done over a long period of time, and your body will gradually reduce its damage and hopefully repair some of the previous damage that's already been done. It may be too late to undo all the damage, but you can stop doing more damage. This video is super long, so I'm going to end it there. It's an hour and a half. If you've watched this whole video, you are a legend, and you are going to be one step closer to changing your life. If you are still here and you've enjoyed this video and you think that this story could help other people, share the video, subscribe, and come to the summit. Let's make this global. I want to help 1 million people for free, but I can't help 1 million people for free unless they know about it. So share it. Share it with your friend, your family, your children. They need it. If you're a human, you need it. Too much sickness. Too many people dying every day for no reason. Don't have to be this way. It's this way by design. Because they make money from you being sick. They make money from keeping you addicted to all these things external to you that you have to pay money for, and you're left with no money to live on. Because you're giving it all away to these billionaires. But you can live better with no money by following the BPM lifestyle. So why don't you give it a try? Come back tomorrow for live, where we're going to talk about the second principle. That's going to be day one of the summit. Is going to be 2 principles. So tomorrow I'll talk about the second one. So go take your shoes off and walk barefoot outside every day and watch your life maybe change, maybe not, but at least you're trying. Don't ever try, you'll never know. Let me know if it feels good. Give me a comment below. So hopefully you'll be back tomorrow and you'll see the next video, which is all about your lungs, oxygen. So see you there.